Well, now I'm going to talk about James Gunn's Superman, the starting point of the brand new DC universe in cinemas. For the spoiler-free part, I have to say that I enjoy the film. It's entertaining and a little mind-numbing, but enjoyable at times. It's good to have a hopeful morale, even if it's terribly kitsch, at least in my opinion. The main strong point for me is the fact that the film adopts a very comic book aesthetic, and its pleasant, kitsch character have leading roles like Mr. Terrific or Metamorpho that I appreciated. There are a lot of characters, not always well used, it's true, but DC fans will love the winks and references. I quite like Guy Gardner, even though everyone makes fun of the character, but in the end I find him rather stylish and well characterized. Now, if I have to criticize the film, it would be the pace, both too fast and too slow at times, the cheesy dialogues like the humor in general, and the fact that we feel Gunn less inspired than on the Suicide Squad, for example. I don't know if it's a favor he granted himself, a bit like with Creature Commandos, but it gives me that impression, given that he's at the helm of a new universe that has the potential to become very lucrative and extensive. He's going to be able to allow himself crazy projects. If this Superman works at the box office at the moment, we don't have enough perspective to draw a conclusion. As the launch of a new universe, it's a success as a film, it's semi-success. The introduction is very poorly edited and doesn't make you want to see the rest, but the film is creative and playful enough to keep you on the edge of your seat, halfway between the environments of Minecraft and the sets of Ratchet and Clank. The kitsch touch of the 2000s particularly pleases me. It's personal. I happen to think of The Incredibles while watching. I should point out in passing that I'm not a fan of Snyder's universe. I enjoyed Batman v Superman, but seeing this universe end left me neither hot nor cold. The humor is an annoying component of the film, but it's James Gunn's DNA and we managed to get past it. Except for the introduction of a character at the end. Those who have seen it know who it is. More generally, I wonder if Gunn was the right person to put on the Superman project. I'm all for the renewal of characters throughout the various adaptations, but this iteration is going to be talked about, and not all in a good way. I was also disappointed by Gunn's usual careful handling of emotions, especially in the Peacemaker series and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Here, Jonathan Kent gets a great scene, but the dialogue could have been done with a little more attention. I hope Gunn doesn't get lost in classic Hollywood production, or at least manages to return to his old identity and offer big productions that are spicier and more courageous than the usual films, but I think I'm honestly dreaming. I had to talk about the music and the color grading as well. You might wonder if I really enjoyed the film in the end, but I assure you that I did. That for reasons that are more personal than cinematic or relevant to any analysis, the music to start with is non-existent and unfortunately uses Williams' theme, which is a shame. John Murphy composed a superb soundtrack for the Suicide Squad, and the colors are strange, saturated, and unnatural. Spoils some special effects that are already not very beautiful, but this film I believed in redemption of James Gunn and quotes that he was going to make his epic serious odyssey with a message, a point of view, etc. So there are indeed several parallels made with our world, social networks and fake news in abundance, armed conflicts that make the news, etc. But for the first observation, I think it's Gunn's revenge on those who wanted to cancel it after his old tweets. But for the second, by his own admission, the film's conflict was not inspired by those of our world. The similarities indicate otherwise, but given that the project must have been written for a while, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor didn't convince me either, but James Gunn's villains are often very bad. I think the line, the film is only as good as its antagonist, is wrong. A good villain is an important component, but most of the time with Gunn, he ridicules them for their horrible actions and their egos. With Gunn, a villain can't be classy or charismatic by definition. Ultraman has also surprised me. I was thinking it was going to be a Superman from previous films like Ralph or Cavill, who would have been captured by Luthor to serve as a slave. Given the role of Pocket Dimensions, would have been easy to do the same thing with a pocket multiverse in some way. I'm very curious about what happens next for the DCU. This first film is imperfect, but not without merit. It doesn't deserve the shitstorm it gets and is an honest entertainment without great genius. A bit of a downward leveling like the last Jurassic World, but it has become almost norm in Hollywood now despite a few exceptions, James Gunn included in the past. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you and I'll see you next time.